I'm probably gonna come after that guy who squatted on this URL. This is actually infuriating. This is not a bit.
What does Pablo coming after someone look like?
Right. What are you going to do? I mean,
Sorry, did that sound dismissive?
It really did. It was maybe the most dismissive thing anybody has ever said to me. And he said it to me while laughing into my face.
Hey, you.
It was very much like the guy that stands in front. He's like, all right, just hit me once. Punch me as hard as you can.
like, we love you. You know that. But just you coming at someone it's not you, Pablo.
I didn't mean for this show, which I designed around like journalistic storytelling and fun conversations, to be about me exacting vengeance on Daniel Baldwin and this person and now Chris Cody. But we can pivot to that.
You're wearing a cardigan.
It's so comfortable.
You come at me with a cardigan, though, and I'm laughing at you.
What I was going to talk about in this segment was what I did before I got to Miami.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to increase my profile as guy who you would be afraid of in a fight. But I went to CVS to get my ears professionally cleaned.
They do that at CVS?
Really?
I've done that.
At CVS?
Yeah.
I didn't know, Jess, you could do this until I watched How To with John Wilson on HBO.
Oh, it's such a good show.
Such a good show. The new episode has a scene in which a giant, anthracite moon rock is removed from John Wilson's ear.
What?
And that inspired me to wonder, is this why I feel like I'm going deaf? Am I also clogged up? And so I Googled professional ear cleaning and realized that the first ad I got was for CVS. I didn't know that you could do it either.
I lost my hearing when I had COVID, and I was very concerned and found out it was just a lot of bad things piling up at the same time.
You had a kidney stone in your ear?
Yeah. So I had to go and get this done, and they told me you can't come until COVID's gone and all that stuff. I'm like, I literally can't. The TV was turned on to 78. I couldn't
do I
hear
come
anything.
in?
It was really bad.
When?
Yeah.
Wait, so I have a story, but how does this work?
What?
Well, I don't know how Pablo's worked, but mine you had to go and you almost pre-treated your ear with the home kit first to kind of loosen some stuff up, right?
Hold on,
and then
what does
you
that
went.
mean?
What is the home?
Yeah.
It's a Q-tip.
No. It's drops that go in there and
Never
they
use
break
the
it up.
Q-tip.
Yeah. And there's a whole a tooth part water thing, and you could do an at-home one where you basically got one of those little bulb-looking things, and you kind of suck water in, and then you pressure the dried up earwax out of your ear. And it's not, by the way, here's a misconception. It's not just because you're a filthy human, which is what everyone assumes, right?
Thank you.
Some people are just more conditioned to have wax build up deep in their ear canals that they can't do anything about.
Wax, for the record, is sort of an evolution. It's an evolutionary adaptation. It's supposed to prevent things from getting into
It's just
your
wax,
ear.
man.
But it's there's stuff that can get into your ear, and that is a sensitive place. And so the wax is meant to be this membrane that stops.
It's like a protective coating.
And sometimes people have too much protection.
Yes. Sometimes people don't have enough protection.
Hell yeah.
Have you guys seen the commercial for the product called Whoosh?
No.
Is it the power drill you put in your ear that sucks out the
Yeah,
wax?
I am a sucker for a good infomercial, especially if it's a guy screaming at me. So I have problems because I have sausage fingers, getting my fingers kind of into the ears with the Q-tips, doing all that. I can't do it. And so I saw a commercial for a thing called Whoosh. It's like an ear irrigation system, okay? You stick this thing, oh, there it is, okay? You stick it into your ear, and you turn on the water, and it's supposed to clean out your ear. Now, here's the thing.
There's
Like an ear
no
pick.
way
It's like an
this-
ear pick.
I love a good
Yeah.
infomercial. I don't care. I mean, at one point, I owned every single product that Tony Powers was pitching, including that lap belt that you just put around your waist and you just sit on the couch.
vibrated.
You're supposed to lose 25 pounds in a week.
If I'm being honest, Whoosh sounds like a feminine hygiene product.
Well, listen, I need to see results, okay? So when I put the Q-tip in, at least I see wax. I see some wax. I do this thing with a Whoosh. It feels great, and I do a thing where I walk up to it, and I'm sorry to describe this to you guys, but I'm like, whoosh, there it is. I do it. I don't know why. My wife is creeped out by it. I have a towel around me. It's disgusting. I'm
You're
sorry.
doing a bit just to yourself.
Yes.
Well,
Whoosh,
in a
there
towel.
it is. Yes.
Respect.
Because it feels so good, and I'm looking so forward to putting that whoosh in my ear, but I don't see the wax come out. So I have no idea if it's working. I need to see results, and I'm not certain this is giving me results, but I get to sing a song, and it feels great. I mean,
So this is my issue with my CVS experience, Stugotz, is exactly that.
Right.
I had, to Billy's point, I had the eardrops in to sort of loosen up the wax.
You know what happened to me is that the wax was so deep in there that the eardrops then were getting stuck, and then I had to have my own home remedy of mixing in that and swimmer's ear to try to get the water
Swimmer's
out
ear.
because the water was getting stuck inside my ear.
You were making your own earwax moonshine.
Listen, man, it was like 2020, 2021. Like, we couldn't actually see doctors. Everything was like telehealth. Like, we all became our own home physicians at that time, you
Right.
know?
So this stuff that was one of the components that Billy made into this cocktail, I put it in my ear. It kind of worked. And then the doctor, who I didn't know existed at CVS, there's a doctor at CVS. Did you guys know this?
I did actually know that because Charlotte got the flu once at the Super Bowl in Minnesota, and she had to go to the CVS doctor to fix her. Yeah, the
Really?
Minute Clinic.
Love a good minute clinic.
Yeah.
yeah, they're
So
great.
I tried to be as open-minded as I could upon realizing that there's a doctor who lives inside the CVS about the quality of medical care I was going to receive.
They're not allowed to own homes.
And so I went in and I put this thing in my ear, or they did, and it broke it up a little bit. And then they did the thing, Stugotz, where they were hand pumping water into my ear canal.
Wow.
And she did it again and again and again, and nothing came out.
That's what I'm saying.
Nothing came out.
But it felt good, right?
It did, but then I was just left
Whoosh,
with
there
like
it
this
is.
feeling of like water is now stuck in my ear.
Wait, so it didn't work for you?
No, I didn't get any earwax out.
So when it happened to me, I was warned in advance, which I didn't even consider. They're like, you may get really dizzy as a result
I
of
did
this.
feel dizzy.
They're like, you may get really dizzy. It may throw off your equilibrium, and you may need to kind of just sit down for like 20 minutes after to make sure that you can drive. And I'm like, that seems ridiculous. So then they start shooting in the water because it's like
I
high
didn't sit
pressured
that
water.
long when I got the vaccine. I
Well,
mean,
it's high pressured water. They're like shooting your ear to kind of shoot the thing out. As soon as the rock like came out, it sounded like it was like someone was yelling. It became so loud, and I was like, ah! Like, calm down. But I didn't get dizzy, which I was very surprised because normally I'm not very tough.
But that moment, Stugotz, the moment,
you wanted the big ball of wax, Pablo.
yes, the moment of almost being like those kids that finally can hear for the first time. Like, I wanted that moment of like, I had been living my life one way, and now I know the full spectrum of feeling and possibility because this moon rock dropped out of my ear. I didn't get jack.
So I have a question. They say don't put the Q-tips in because they can damage your canal, your eardrum, or whatever. But if they're shooting pressurized water into your eardrum, does that not work the same way, or?
It's a good question by you.
I mean, one is a stick and one is controlled amount of pressure. I think
Super
some people
pressurized water?
I think some people just go too ham with the Q-tip. Have you ever seen Girls, Tony? It's a whole thing.
The Q-tip, the issue with it is part of it will come off in your ear and it'll get lodged
That's
there.
never happened.
No, but it's like a little
Happened on
piece at
Girls.
the end. I saw a girl on TikTok who, like,
Twice.
she had so much Q-tip stuff stuck in her ear.
Wait, but when you guys go to the pharmacy, do they show you the actual wax? Do you ever see wax? I need to see results.
When you get it
That's what I'm
done?
saying. Yes.
Yeah, they have like a little thing that
Yes, they
catches
give
the
you
stuff that
they
falls
give you
out.
like
Okay.
a bib for your
Yeah,
ear.
and you hear it, and then
Exciting.
you see it like someone who like a San Francisco 49er almost who was going back and sifting for gold back in the day.
I have a question. So, like, obviously, when you see the ball of wax, it's very satisfying, right? To just like see it and be like, "Wow, I know that was there."
Always.
Are you sending this picture to someone else?
My wife.
Because my father recently sent me a picture of the earwax in my mother's ear, like a few months ago, and it was truly the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And I don't know why anyone would think like, "Oh, I got to show this to someone else."
But it is the thing of like, why is Amin creeping around and leaving and
Weird.
entering and leaving? What?
Why'd you come in?
He wanted to come in, put his laptop down, and he realized he has to go to the
he
bathroom.
likes to do shows.
I thought he
himself
was just like
sometimes.
weirded out by earwax, and I was like, "Dude, you have a poop chat."
Speaking of dissatisfying exits,
Tenth
though,
of that gross.
I wish I had that moment. It's the reason I am watching Stugotz. I had seen the whoosh. Is that what it's called?
Whoosh.
I had
yeah.
seen the whoosh
Whoosh,
ads on
there
Instagram.
it
I had been
A
We
whoosh
heard it
bag.
the first time.
I had been served those ads in my algorithm because I find it very satisfying to see and imagine that feeling of the moon rock falling out. It's the same logic of like pimple popper videos.
Give it time.
Hate those.
Like, give yourself time. You may be able to grow a rock in your ear. Like, believe that you can do this.
I was told I had like a little bit of something like resting against my eardrum, and I was disappointed in myself. But I'm wanting. It's the same reason why I can't stop watching. Like I've talked about this before on this show. I think chiropractor TikToks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, just that sound, the ASMR aspect of like something cracking, something happening. Like, I believe that there's a Foley artist, Stugotz. A Foley artist being the person who, behind the scenes of a show, is like a horse is trotting and they're like clopping with like their hands on a table. I believe there are TikTok Foley artists who are just making sounds. Like the chiropractor guys, Lucy, I think they're just like cracking like water bottles. I think they're just going like.
So fake sounds?
No, they're absolutely fake sounds. But
That's
if you,
all movies are
yeah.
like that. It's wild.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I love the videos of the lady who does it, but if you want a real satisfying ASMR, you have to watch horses' hooves get cleaned.
Oh, I love
They're
those videos.
they are.
But I'm so scared they're gonna go too far.
No, but they're like. Yeah,
Oh, it's so scary. Have you ever trimmed a dog's nails and there's like the little nerve and you
And
can't clip?
I've
That
always
was a
worried.
scary noise.
I've worried about the
Really
back
hurt.
crackers and the neck crackers that one day they accidentally murder someone. You know what I mean? Like you take it
There's
too far
this
and you
whole-
snap someone's neck and then they're dead.
Billy, there's a whole section of social media that's like debunking chiropractors that says that chiropractors cause strokes and like all these things and like that you should never see a chiropractor. And I mean, honestly, you should not take any medical advice from like random people on the internet, but it has given me pause because I've heard it so many times now that I'm very scared.
Do you publish that video if you accidentally kill someone? You're like the neck cracking doctor.
It could go viral though.
It probably would. And if
Yeah.
you're a doctor that's on TikTok,
you
that's
can-
all you care about.
You
right?
can monetize that.
Wait, but
yeah.
Jess, is this a volume thing for you? Or like, has anyone credible told you this?
No, this is like, has anyone credible told me? No, this is purely
Enough people are talking about
just
it.
things on the internet that I see that I'm like, I don't know what to make of this, but it looks terrifying.
It's very Stugotz of
The
you.
chiropractor is one of those places like once you go once,
I
you
give a
gotta keep
disclaimer.
going. That's what I've always thought. I've avoided the chiropractor because I thought once you go, it's like you got to keep going. Then
That's
love
the
it.
other
Wanna do
reason
that.
why people say it's a scam.
I love the chiropractor.
I caught that too.
I'm sorry,
I knew
Chris.
someone was gonna do
I'm
it.
sorry. I've been doing this all week.
It's like he's trying to be cute. The chiropractor.
Hey, it means back.
You did say chiropractor.
Oh, the widow chiropractor.
So Ron Rivera has said now that he has put his foot in his mouth about all of these Eric Bieniemy comments.
According to NFL.com, quote, I basically told him I put my foot in my mouth. This is Rivera talking to Bienemy. I think what I said wasn't as clear as it needed to be. I think the understanding of it is just the fact that I think everyone's making, in my opinion, a little bit more than needs to be made of this. Because, again, the results are what you're looking for on the field. And so far, the last couple days have been outstanding. I think Eric has done a great job of communicating his message now that guys have opened up, talked with him. He's opened up to them. It's been a great bit of growth the last couple of days that guys are starting to have the aha moments.
I'm glad there's some accountability for this, as the person who demanded accountability from him has walked out of the studio, and I don't know where Stugotz is anymore.
Well, I just think if you wake up and you see a training camp story as the first segment on Get Up, you're probably in damage control mode for the rest of the entire season.
The season?
Terrible way.
No.
Terrible way.
chance.
This is, oh, please.
if they start 3-0, I think we'll forget.
No, we won't. Here's the thing: we won't forget because we'll be like, "See, he was right."
Exactly. What a terrible narrative going into the season. You don't want this. Trust me. It's a boring ass day in August. There's no sports on this morning. You don't want this to be the lead story on Get Up.
It's weird because I never thought I'd see the day where an NFL team complains about there's too much work. Right? Isn't there a thing like I get there at 4 a.m. and I left at 2 a.m. and I don't sleep and my children are actually graduating high school but I haven't seen them since their kindergarten graduation. Like that's the whole NFL ethos, and now all of a sudden we got a guy who's working too hard.
It does feel like a contravention of Mamba mentality.
Oh my God!
Like you should be ashamed to
Yep.
feel like actually this guy is too intense. Intensity is supposed to be the resting state of greatness.
This guy, he went to his kid's birthday party. What a loser! That's not what we do in the NFL, right? What do you think Eric Bieniemy did that like shocked these?
That's what we're speculating about. What would it take to cross the line? And Stugotz took it to mean that simply Antonio Gibson is a coward.
I mean, that's one way to look at it. It is funny, though. Like, you think about it. First of all, let me guess, because I wasn't in here. Let me guess what Stugotz's take was. It was something along the lines of, how many Super Bowls does Eric Bieniemy have? How many Super Bowls does the entire Washington Commanders roster have? Put their Super Bowls in a box, put his Super Bowls in a box.
He could have used you, actually. That's a better punch-up of what he actually said.
What did he say?
He said something like that, but less visually compelling.
I thought, man, rings in a box? That's like a Stugotz staple. Man, is this what it looks like? Is this like Joe Montana playing for Kansas City? Is that what we're watching with Stugotz?
I do want to move, though, from the foot-in-mouth disease.
I'm not as great as I once was.
But I'm as good once as I ever was.
There it is.
My favorite country lyric.
Whoosh, there it is.
So I want to move from the foot and mouth disease of Ron Rivera to Stugotz's visually compelling image that he did provide of him trying to stick a sausage finger into an ear canal, like a badger that can't reach the bottom of a burrow, and needing to buy a whoosh device that he dances around in a towel to while singing that song that Billy sang. Because Amin has thoughts about earwax cleaning.
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of thoughts. It's the first thing that actually made me adopt TikTok, because when TikTok was really starting to blow up, people were like, oh, you got to use it. I'm like, I'm not learning new social medias. I got it. Videos, Instagram, words, Twitter. Don't need anything else. But then, like, I said, let me give it a try. And at first it was like, because it doesn't know you, so it was just sending me, like, people doing stupid dances.
But once it gets to know you.
Oh, man.
Oh, my
Be
God.
careful.
It got to know me, and it got to know me. I was like,
Better than you know you.
better than I know me. Exactly. Like, my latest one that I like is all of these airport freakout videos.
That's my
Love
whole
them.
freak out
Love
videos in general are my algorithm.
No,
at
the
this point.
airport
That is
ones
such an Amin. If
specifically.
really
if I
is,
were
Jess.
to guess what is on your algorithm, airport freakout videos would have been the first thing I would have
It
said.
is.
The first?
It is.
Absolutely.
Do you get the bondsmen trying to get people that have been arrested and have failed to, like, with their bond, and now they need to get brought back to jail? And it's like, you signed a bond with. It's like it's.
Is it like
intense.
Dog the Bounty
It's like
Hunter?
cops. It's essentially. It's
Sounds
essentially
terrible.
like.
Sounds like
it's not-
the nightmare of
It's
late
interesting.
capitalism.
It's
But-
wild.
The first, like, real dominant era of TikTok for me was earwax removals, and it still is. It's still a staple, but it has to share some space with some other.
No,
categories.
it's a starter TikTok trend for sure. They're like, we don't know what this guy's into yet. Let's give him one of these
thought-
candlestick situations and see what he's.
No.
Earwax is a gateway drug.
I don't. First of all, here's the rules to earwax TikTok. Number one, no whooshes. I don't need water. I need a scope. I need to follow and travel down the ear canal. I need multiple instruments. The suction device. I need that little hook.
You want it
The
to
little
snake
hook.
into that canal.
Yes. I want the pincers. I want that one with the little
Yes.
ring at the.
You
a-
would
it's a
love How
great
To with
point.
John Wilson because it gets all
That's
up
what
in
I
there.
wanted. I wanted this, Amin. I went to CVS, got water,
No,
and got nothing.
Yep. There's no payoff because when they use all those tools with the scope, they end up putting it on a napkin out there, and you see this, like, it's almost like when.
The tapeworm.
No, it's when a plane crashes. You know how they recreate the plane, like that's what it looks like. It's like, oh, this part was deeper in the canal, and the different colors.
Kind
and-
of like how they assemble a dinosaur skeleton.
Yes. Lay it out there like on a tarp, right? But then here's the best part, guys. The best part is the payoff of seeing that eardrum when it's a nice grayish color. You know, like, oh, this is a healthy eardrum, as opposed to pink
Yes,
or red.
I
it's
know
a little
exactly what
irritated.
you're talking about. It's like a little gray, little blue gray
Wait,
little
so
eardrum.
give me the, like in college football locker rooms, they have those charts where it's like
The
your
urine
pee,
chart, yeah.
exactly. Your urine should be clear, and that's like A+. And if it's like dark orange, like go to the
The
hospital.
Jaguars now have urinals that change colors after you pee on them. Scott Hansen posted a video going into the Jaguars locker room the other day and explaining, like, it turns red if you're dehydrated and you need an IV, and like it's green if you're good. But what he didn't do was just pee in the urinal and show us himself, because I think that would have been better journalism.
That's a content opportunity.
Let me
that's
just
missed.
say right now, if my urine already color codes for me when I'm dehydrated, why do I need the urinal to be like, and I helped?
It's a great question.
right? Like I already know I'm dehydrated. It looks like Tang.
Hashtag biohacking. Don't worry about
A
it.
literal look at me, Lou.
Only across the pond, chap.
Look at me, WC.
So wait, give me the spectrum of healthy earwax color. Healthiest is?
It's like a golden amber, right? And then like if it gets dark, it means it's been oxidized. Like a real dark black, it's been oxidized, and
Like it's been there for too long.
I guess so, yeah. But the eardrum color is what we were actually talking about. It's not the wax.
Oh, because you can see,
You can see the
through
eardrum.
like the laparoscope, whatever it
The
is.
scope.
The
I just call it the scope, yeah. Because after they've cleared out all the debris, and that's what they call it. They call it debris. And I was like, oh, it's like going through the wreckage of an earthquake or something, right? Like they clear the debris and you find the eardrum, and it looks like it's from outer space. I don't know, Jess, do you have this feeling when you look at the eardrum?
I was just thinking of a laparoscopic eardrum cleaning, and it doesn't sound pretty.
It sounds awesome.
My dad was a urologist.
It's when they like put stuff into your belly button to go through to like your intestines,
Like the Matrix.
and like uterus and stuff.
Do you say your dad is an earologist or a urologist?
A urologist. I grew up playing with
Wow.
toys that weren't toys. Just like
Lots of things in PPs.
clamps and
Um,
scopes and stuff that I didn't
Do
realize.
you have like a little catheter toy?
Yeah. Unironically, yeah.
Oh man, this stuff makes me very uncomfortable. Quite.
You've been talking to us about eardrum canal colors.
That's fine, but once you start talking about catheters, which I don't know if like it
Better
took
out
me
than in, is what you're saying.
it took me a while to figure this. I mean, I might have been an adult when I realized, wait, they put it right up the hole, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't even sound right. Doesn't even sound possible.
And it keeps going.
Oh.
It keeps going.
I guess you don't listen to Mystery Crate then.
Billy would know.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Is this true?
How are you doing, Billy?
I actually went to my urologist on Monday.
Yeah?
Clean bill of health.
Pablo's dad?
I think. It's one of
Did
those.
he
Ref.
say that or did you say that?
No, it's one of those. It's one of those copay scams. If I'm going to be honest with you, where it's like, you got to come in and you got to do a sonogram, and then you got to come back in to do the results. And it's like, why can't you just tell me the results? I'll wait 20 minutes and just move to another room. So they keep calling me to set up my follow-up appointment, but I was, I got an in with, someone that was there doing it. I was like, what'd you see? What'd you think? How were we looking? And then he, gave me a little wink, and I was like, I can't say, but
I have Billy like putting his baseball glove in front of his mouth.
exactly right. Yeah, I took off my Dolphins
his
hat. I
pants
was
are
like,
down?
What are we thinking? No, this one was all on the up and up. Yeah,
Is there a huddle with like
belt stayed on for this one.
with a nurse as well?
Yeah, at the mound.
You guys like,
Billy, you're the kind of person that's like watching whatever ultrasound or whatever and trying to figure out if you can diagnose what's going on from the screen with
Sometimes-
zero training.
Yeah, no, I don't try to diagnose, but sometimes I do take a peek.
Gotta see what's what.
I've stopped doing it. No, I'll take a peek and I'm like, that doesn't look right to me. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, that doesn't look like what the other one looked like. And then what's that big
Should
dark
that be
spot
there?
in the middle? Like, why is that? What's that void exactly?
I've been Google imaging urethras.
Yeah, that doesn't look like what it's supposed to look. They love that, by the way. Anytime you go to a doctor, make sure to do that. They love when you walk in and say, well, I looked on the internet. I think I have this.
yo, it's crazy because I can't ever remember looking at a medical image and being able to tell anything. When they're like, oh yeah, and there's the fracture right there, like, there it is. I'm like, I don't know what you're pointing at. I never see it. It all looks the same. It looks like a ghost.
It does, but also when I see something and I'm trying to see something and it's not what I'm thinking I'm supposed to see, I get very concerned. I'm like, that doesn't look right.
You ever seen
at
like
all.
those brain scans of like NFL players that had CTE or whatever, and it's like, this is a healthy brain and this is the brain with CTE. And I'm just like, wow, it's all over. I'm like, I can't tell the difference.
My eye doctor sometimes.
I
It's
think
like
that means you have CTE.
I feel like I'm Henry Winkler sometimes, and I'm like, those are balls.
My eye doctor takes images of my eyes. It's like, we can basically tell if anything's going to ever happen to you for the next 40 years if we take this one image for $20. And I'm like, sure. I'm sure it's BS. But I'm like, absolutely. If you can tell me if anything's going to be wrong with me for the next 40 years for $20, for sure.
Did he
and
tell
then
you?
I'm looking at my eyeball, and I'm like, ooh, that looks not great. What are those, like, spots or whatever? Like, those look like some thick veins. Like, what are we doing here? And they're like, this is a very healthy eyeball. And I'm like, wow, eyeballs are gross. Like, A healthy eyeball doesn't look great to me.
So is something gonna happen to you or no?
I don't think
$20.
so. Well, look, I know me. Something's going to happen to me.
To your eyes specifically.
Maybe.
He didn't give you a finite answer.
They told me no,
He said
but
20. Here's 20, but like thanks for the $20.
I also had a dried piece of contact stuck on my eyeball for a week.
What? No.
Did it hurt?
It was terrible. I thought I had a scratched cornea.
You didn't notice it?
No, I
It does
did. I
suck.
thought I had a scratched cornea, and then I went for a follow-up, and they're like, wait a minute, there's something stuck on here. And then they put a Q-tip on my eyeball and took it off. But they blinded me first.
This is the most uncomfortable segment ever.
I can't believe I've been bullied by you.